Hey everyone, Erin here, the Impatient Gardener, coming to you for another sort of unedited, mostly, garden stroll where we just sort of walk through the garden and I make sure that my volume's working, which it is, and just check in on what's happening in the garden, and we don't put a lot of fuss or muss into these videos. And today we are starting, oh, by the way, I'm filming this on Saturday afternoon. I stopped early because the light is just so beautiful right now. I just didn't want to miss it. And so what is this, Saturday the 26th? So I guess this is going up on the 27th of April. I live in southeastern Wisconsin, zone 6A, according to the USDA these days. We have two pieces of viewer mail. First one comes from Sweden, where I can assure you they have really good stamps. Oh, this is going to be great. Beautiful pictures, which I'll show you in a second. Hi, Erin. Mea culpa. Over a year ago, I sent a homemade postcard on my bee pollinator. Unfortunately, the color on the postcard got scraped off in the mail, so I promised to send a new one. Well, life and a broken printer got in the way, but I finally kept my promise. As a bonus for your patience, I've included a photo of one of my dead hedges. I've become a real deadhead and find them a great way to handle garden waste instead of burning. I do love my dead hedge. I haven't talked much about it because I think that I'm doing a pretty poor job of making a dead hedge, but I'm like, that's maybe like one of the things that I want to like get better at. So I can't wait to see this picture. Hope you have a successful year in your garden. This is Clarice in Kvicksund, Sweden. Tell me if I'm Clarice, tell me if I'm saying that right. I'm sure I'm not. Oh my gosh, so fabulous, you guys. So isn't this beautiful? It's like the most colorful, beautiful little meadow, and I see poppies in there, and well, I can't even identify half of the things I see in there, but absolutely gorgeous. And then, oh, you weren't lying. Great dead hedge right here. Excellent dead hedge. Oh yeah, I gotta level up my dead hedge game. That's amazing. Thank you so much for sending that, Clarice. So you guys, if you're not familiar with this little postcard project, this is where people send in postcards, letters, whatever, with what they found inspirational in a garden they visited or their own garden. And we share them here on the channel so everybody can sort of travel along. Hi, Erin. I couldn't find a picture of Mrs. Perry Slocum that I believe is your lotus. This picture is Victoria Amazonia, and it is from South Africa. These are these enormous water lilies that get like 6 feet tall, and like 160, 200-pound person can stand at them. I no longer have the water garden, but I have heard of people grow it in a smaller pond. On the bottom of the leaves are wicked thorns. I have actually seen these. I think, when I was at Longfield 2 years ago, we got like a behind-the-scenes tour, and they flipped over some of the. They had the water lilies in a special pond because they were rebuilding that whole area, so they had them like in the back in a special pond, and they flipped over the leaves, and no lie, those thorns are nuts. The flower bud forms under the water, and it kind of looks like a football with thorns. It rises up and opens after a couple of days. White blossom at night blooming tropical water lily. It closes the next morning and opens the second night in a lovely pink shade. It closes in the morning again, and that is the end of the big show. It also smells like juicy fruit gum. I really enjoyed seeing you in Kansas City, and so glad you got to experience KC Barbecue. Keep up the good work. I do enjoy your posts. This is from Bucky Will. Thank you so much. Fabulous. Okay, let's, if you guys want to send anything, the address is always in the description below, along with more information about the garden. Anything else you're looking for is probably in that description, including that mailing address. All right, let's go for a stroll, because again, you're going to be blown away. If you've been following along every week, you're going to be blown away by how different the garden looks than it did from a week ago. Okay, since I was just sitting here in the front, we have the chairs up, but no cushions. So I tell you what, the breeze is off the lake and it's a little chilly. Okay, all the green you see through here, this is all Virginia bluebells. So you can see they're all starting to come up. We're starting to get flowers in them. Just in the past 2 days, we're starting to get a feeling for like what's alive and what's dead. So it's always nice to see like the tiny tough stuffs showing a few leaves along stems, like none here, but fresh new growth at the bottom. Those I always, if you live in a cold area, I caution you to use a lot of patience before assuming that something is dead. I have plants in this garden that I bought as replacements because I assumed that the plant I was replacing was dead, and it turned out it was just fine. So exercise patience before you assume that something is dead. This is what Aranthus looks like after it's all done flowering. It's quite tall. And it's just nice little ground cover. Really helps keep weeds from popping up. And I'll tell you what, there's a lot of that happening. Sorry, the garage doors are open right now. We were working in there. I do like to try to neaten things up a little bit, but I just want to take a pause, like I said, because I didn't want to miss the light here, because there are some really good things to show you. Let's start with maybe the best thing in the whole garden right now. One of my absolute favorite spring bloomers. This is bloodroot, but this is the double form. This is called multiplex. This is Sanguinaria canadensis multiplex. I got this from a friend. I also bought it from Plant Delights before. This is probably the one from my friend. It doesn't like seed around nearly as much as the single, unfortunately, but it's really fabulous. The other thing behind here, quite happy to see some fresh, if you can see this right here, some fresh foliage coming out of my Eclipse hydrangea. So although it's a fairly good bet that the stems might have died all the way back to the stems, we got fresh growth there. So you can see through here we have some of the single bloodroot. We're going to look at more down here. Here is the single bloodroot. I'm glad I got out here now because you can see it's already starting to close for the day. So equally charming, but not quite as charming as that amazing double. And this reseeds nicely throughout the garden. You can see there's some hydrangeas in here that I haven't even cut back yet. You guys, we are so incredibly slow this year. Or maybe this is normal, but a lot slower than last year. I mean, there's no sign of a leaf anywhere on a tree. I'm looking at people's gardens and they're like all done with their bulbs, and we barely have any bulbs even blooming yet. It's rather shocking. So the good thing about that is more time to get some of those jobs done. The bad thing is that it's all going to happen at once. We have a very sort of condensed season here. Okay, all through here, Virginia bluebells. All back there, Virginia bluebells. All the lady's mantle is coming up really nice. Now I did run around with my hoe, because the one nice thing about being, well, it's certainly in a garden for a long time, is that you start to recognize the spots where you expect seeding problems. And so I roughed out, well, they're gone now because I used my hoe, but there was a ton of seedlings of garlic mustard weed popping up in here. And I'm sure what happened is every once in a while I get one that pops up back there, and if it goes to seed, they go everywhere. So it's great. So I just took the hoe, you can see right there, hoe went through there. Here, this right here is a, let's see if we can get some focus happening here. This is a garlic mustard seedling right here. And it's a first year seedling. I think they get bigger and like fork the second year. Anyway, so that's what I was grubbing out. And that's the little root on them. If you take care of them at this stage, you don't have to pick them up. You don't have to do anything with them. You just run your hoe around them. Somewhat more work is going to be this bishop's weed, also known as gout weed. This is the variegated one. It was given to me. It came as a rider on a plant, and then I moved that plant over here. So now I have it in 2 spots. What else is happening in this garden that I want to show you? Oh, I did do some cutting back on the tree peony here. This is the great shrinking tree peony. Every year, I think it's in too much sun. Every year I lose another chunk of it, but still we've got 3 big buds on it. So there's still plenty to be looking at here. This is Sapphire Indigo Clematis coming up here. I just cut that back today. Super easy, just cut everything back except for obviously the new stuff that's coming up. It's one of those days where I was just kind of hopping from one job to another, and I didn't get home from Odin's vet appointment till 2, so I didn't get out into the garden until late. Everything started popping up. A week ago, these little hostas, which I think is teaspoon, I don't think they were coming up yet. Working on developing this bed, we have to finish up a little something with the gutter downspout here. Let's pop into the greenhouse so we can talk about a real problem. And that problem is dahlias. So I have not yet finished potting up my dahlias. And here's where we're at. All of these pots on the top row and from here over on the second row and the bottom row are dahlias. I counted 80 some this morning. I probably have another easily 25. That is too many dahlias. I don't need that many. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. This is a problem, and I'm not doing this to myself again. And in fact, there are some that I'm just not going to pot up at all. Some are just going to get planted, because I think I have probably well, this is the HS dates that I potted up here. So if you remember, I don't know if you remember this or not, but last year I grew a whole front bunch from cuttings. Well, those all form nice tubers. So I saved all those. But I'm not going to, I mean, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, there's 10 of them there. I probably have another 10 in the house. That's insanity. We are, I haven't even gotten to most of the new ones that I bought yet. It's cocoa bananas. It's not sane. I do not recommend this. Don't do this to yourself. Because I don't even, where are these all going? I'm sure I'm going to give a whole bunch of these away. So, anyway, but we do have, some have some nice little sprouts on them popping up. Got pretty warm in here today. I had to come over and save things. These snapdragons, I think, can go outside, get planted out. Actually, we are, okay, technically, the old technical, last frost date. We're going to burn that pile one of these days. Although there's some stuff in there that should be in the dead hedge. So technically, I think our last frost date these days is supposedly around May 5th. And we haven't had below 32 for at least a week, if not more. And there's nothing in the forecast below 40. So I think we're pretty clear. Okay. Here's something. These are like the little things that you guys get to see that no one else gets to see. So you got to watch these videos if you want to know what's happening around here. You might recall that this little weird little island thing has been Viburnum plicata mauricii for ages. And over the years, it's just steadily declined. And a couple of years ago, I thought it either had borers or I thought it had some disease, and I was going to pull it out, and then I didn't. And then it turned out kind of okay. Well, it's come out now. We're going to replace it with something else. But here's what we found. This is it right here. This is all that's left of it. Let me get you some light here. Look at the roots. So do you see this? There's a 90-degree bend in it. And the root goes that way, only in one direction. So certainly part of the reason this thing wasn't doing well is because the roots were not that great. But I don't think I there's nothing big came out of that hole. It's not like I planted it on top of a tree stump or something that it would have hit something and then turned. I don't recall planting it at all, but I certainly wouldn't have just stuck it on top of a tree stump. So I don't know, and clearly you can see, this is where it came out of the ground. So isn't that strange? It's a bit of a mystery. Let's get you dark again, or a little toned down. Okay, out here in the woods, you can see if you see that green, the green is all skunk cabbage. And the skunk cabbage is, let's get you close to one so you can see how pretty it is. It really looks like a shiny light green hosta. Really pretty. Also through here, stinging nettles everywhere. But I was just listening when I was up driving to the vet for Darwin today. I was listening to Gardener's Question Time from BBC, and they were talking about how stinging nettles are amazing for compost. So I think maybe I'm gonna come out here and dig some of these and throw them in the compost. Because with all my spare gardening time, that's what I have time for, is pulling weeds out of the woods and putting them in my compost. I could also make soup with them. Apparently nettle soup is it, can you see my shadow? Like you can see me gesticulating in my shadow. Hi. I see this fern at least. I'm looking for the, oh yeah, here, we'll show you some of the other ferns. Ferns are starting to come up. This is, I think, about the stage where if you're gonna pick them to eat as fiddleheads, I believe like this is what you want. There's a bigger one over here. These are ostrich ferns. They planted themselves here, or somebody planted them here long before I was here. Well, gosh, they're all over the place. Once you see one, then you realize it, but here you go. So I think this is pretty much the stage at which you want to pick them for fiddleheads. I had them once. You know, I don't know. They're fine. They tasted like butter and garlic because I cooked them in butter and garlic. Okay. We've been looking at this beautiful ambassador allium. Just, you know, the more I look at this, the more I think it's so cool. Look at how the leaves, it almost looks like a leek. Well, obviously they're all in the same family, but coming up there, a lot of things popping up in here. This is Phlomis Amazonia. That is, oh my gosh, you guys, my brain's not quite in gardening season mode yet. Angelica gigas that I transplanted over here. 1, 2 over here. I don't know, happy to see things popping up because this is the garden where last year I lost about 75% of the plants and had to replant a whole bunch of stuff. I need to get out with the deer repellent ASAP because the hostas are coming up and they haven't found them yet. We have some little treats over in this garden. First of all, this is, so I planted a lot of like woodland plants in this garden last year, but this is already a home to some woodland plants. Mayapple, Ordenia, Fusion of Fire coming up there. All these seedlings right here, got to get in here. These are all garlic mustard weed. And then over here, something very special, at least if you're a foodie, ramps. Those are ramps. I found ramps in another part of the garden too. So there's ramps here. These are all ramps. Looks like I planted right amongst the ramps in some cases. More ramps there, more ramps there, more mayaples over there. This is a sweet little spot in the garden. And I'm happy to see most of the plants that I planted here in fall looking good. Oh, I don't think it's blooming yet, but I did show you yesterday, well, no, last week, Hylomecan japonica, this Japanese woodland poppy, lots of buds on it. Should be seeing flowers soon, I would think. So one of the big projects this week was we spread compost on everything, follow the finger, where is it? There we go. Everything from here all the way up there and around there. We stopped there because I wanted to see where we ended up with the compost because I gotta make sure that I get the front beds, and it was spreading far enough that I knew I didn't want to order another load of it. So this is Roy's garden here. Can I lighten you up a little? This is Roy's garden, and that got a nice dose of it. It needed it. Even though the plants here are generally kind of prairie type plants, it really, really, really needed it. I believe it's got hit pretty hard with jumping worms. And so it's been a bit of a rehab project bringing it back. Here is Iris Versicolor, geez Louise. That was an F whatever. Iris Versicolor Purple Flame. The purple does go away, but it's gorgeous as it's coming up. If you can see, I'm not going to walk over there this time, but if you can see along right in there, all that green, that is the butterbur that we've been looking at every single week. Japanese Petasites. Now it's all leaves. Just this woods, which looks like garbage a good part of the year, looks so pretty in spring. And of course it's unmanaged, which makes it even prettier because I don't have to do it. Okay, bulb mound update. Okay, still feeling a little underwhelming to me, to be perfectly honest, compared to last year. But the Kyandox, it's snow glories. I think these are snow glories, right? The glory of the snow. I don't think that's the same as Kyandoxia. Boy, getting myself all confused. Some pretty blue flowers. Let's go with that for now. And I'll figure it all out later. Oh, I actually see some Fertillary up. Fertillaria. Here's a little snake's head Fertillaria coming up. He's very cute. He actually looks a little sad. Some Mascari coming up. Just a few tiny little daffodils. This probably needs compost too, maybe. Anyway, still love it. I actually like this better when it looks a little shaggy than when it's actually like mowed. Oh gosh, even one of the little species tulips is up. Well, that means that if that stuff is up, the daffodils just like aren't gonna come. I really don't think we mowed too early last year. Everything was pretty much dead to the ground before we mowed. This is a bit of a mystery. Like I said last week, I am committed to this project. I still love this. It's actually one of my favorite things. Maybe it's just a little bit of a dud year. Maybe the deer or critters got in here and ate a bunch of bulbs. Actually, if you get close to it, it's quite pretty. It's just that last year it looked pretty good from afar as well. Okay. I think I remember the name. I think it's Sandy Shores is the name of this. What the hell is popping up? Oh, it's a grass. Sandy Shores hellebores, I think, is what that one is. Oh, I do want to pop down here and show you. I planted a lot of little goat's beard last year. Got a lot of that coming up. I'm so happy. Just nice to see the things you planted here coming up. Okay, this is pretty wild. So along this creek, I've got planted Ligularia desdemona. I believe Ligularia has been reclassified as I want to say Farfignugan. Farfugium, but I'm still going to call it Ligularia for a while. Anyway, this is Desdemona, and it's purple leafed, and I planted it along here because it really likes these sort of boggy conditions, but you can grow it in drier areas too. Just throw some water on it every once in a while. It's a very adaptable plant, and deer don't eat it. And I don't particularly care for the flowers on it because they're kind of this sort of gauche, goldy yellow. But I let the flowers stay because I wanted to reseed. And this might be one of those be careful what you wish for things, but it reseeded like amazingly. Look at all of these are little seedlings in here. So I think this is actually going to look beautiful. Also along here, I'm noticing a lot of Canadian ginger. This is all Canadian ginger, which means I think that's spreading itself. I don't think I planted any over here. So that's also great news. So this little stream bank here, let me zoom you out a little. Oh, you're fully zoomed out, sorry. This little stream bank here carries, it's basically, I think I've discussed this before, but basically it brings down water from the farm fields, which means every freaking kind of seed is stuck in this and it embeds itself in the bank. So this is really, I'm trying to, these should cover the ground pretty well. I'm trying to not have a place for things to root. So this is all Solidago canadensis. one of the native ones. It's not a particularly desirable one. It's quite aggressively weedy here. So I don't really want that here. Could be worse things, certainly. But it wouldn't be my first pick to have here. So that's all along here. But there's all sorts of other things that can embed itself in the ground here. So if I can get this legal area established, then the goal is to, well, hopefully create a more inhospitable place for weeds to sprout. Here is my very favorite Marsh marigold, just showing off here in the creek. Planted itself, came down here. This is probably something that put itself here in that same way. And this is something that I'm thankful for. Here's a whole bunch of it along here. Just beautiful. I tell you what is looking very healthy this year, and it's so frightening. It's creeping bellflower. Like, look at this patch of creeping bellflower right here. You guys, it's shocking to me how aggressive it seems this year. Like, it's what caused that to happen? Why does it seem worse than other years? I can't imagine. I certainly never let it spread or never let it flower, ever. So even if I don't dig it up or deal with it, it's not reseeding at least. So I don't know. Here's some more ramps that I found the other day when we were doing our compost. Let's pop back up here. Anyway, this whole area has been composted. So the way we did it was we just basically threw shovelfuls around. I did cover up the crowns of plants in many cases with empty plant cans so that we didn't have to worry about covering up plant crowns or anything. In some of these areas, like, where all the Carex pennsylvanicas and stuff, I just sort of flung it casually. So I think everything is going to be so much happier with this. I think it was worth the effort for sure. You can see we've done it over here as well. We got a big shout out here to Carex pennsylvanica. Look at what a great mat this has created. So most of these plugs were planted in 2020 or 2021, and they've just really created a mat, basically. I do pop things in between it so we don't just have like one thing, but it's really it does, in the areas where it's thick, it really does keep out weeds. It's great. So here is a Caryopteris sapphire. It's the one from First Editions, Sapphire Surf, maybe. So Caryopteris is like a sub-shrub, and so you generally wait for it to show some signs of growth before you do any pruning on it. No signs of growth yet, but I'm pretty confident it'll come back. I actually have one that did kind of get cut back here. This is one, oh my God, there's a tag. What are the odds? Caryopteris gold crest. Oh, never mind. It's not growth from that. It's got accidentally cut off. You're really not supposed to do that. This is a tree that has created a weed. So you can see that I didn't even rake out any of this compost. It's just, we're just going to let the rain do its thing. This is a stilbe. What's that dark side of the moon? Is that right? Coming up. Let's pop into the vegetable garden. Because we should just check on, there's a few things that are happening that are exciting in here. Well, maybe not exciting. The garlic is pretty much all up. I'll have to sort of help it in some, like you can see it's sort of pushing up the saute mulch a little bit. So the garlic is looking great. These are the peas we planted, maybe 2 weeks ago. I wouldn't say they're doing a ton of growing. but they're alive. These are the onions planted at the same time, but the most exciting thing is the Belgian fence. So in case you are newer here, this is a Belgian fence that I created from royal raindrops, crabapple, whips, and started them by whacking them all off at the same height and then formed this sort of diamond pattern. I do believe in the next, soon, we'll be able to take the bamboo canes off that are forming the framework here. Some of these things need to be tied in a little bit, but I think soon these will all be strong enough to support themselves without that bamboo framework, which is fine because the bamboo is actually not looking great. But look, lots of nice buds there. I have a little bit of a grass problem just along this one, so I have to get in there and rescue that guy. But it's going to be beautiful. Hopefully we get great blooms on it, but really pretty. This guy right here and its partner over here in these very crooked pots. This is the columnar apples. I think these are going to come out and go in the ground. They don't want to live in these pots. I think they can actually go in the ground right here or down a little bit, but we've got room along the edges of the garden here for that kind of thing. I think I saw buds on the, yes, we have little buds here on the Liberty apple, Espalier Liberty apple, which, let me back up so you can see, has really gotten long, and I'm just letting it keep getting long. It seems happy, so I'm fine with that. This is a pear, which is kind of misshapen over here. He's sort of half long. Let's see where we're at here. Oh yeah, we do have some nice buds on this guy too. Oh boy, like you could ever see that with the backlit. Okay, that is vegetable garden update. Here's some solidago trying to take over there. And some really not great looking boxwoods, but look, we've got all kinds of flowers on them and stuff, so they're happy. Okay. So the other day I was driving home from work and I'm like, what's all that green in this garden? And I don't know. I think it looks like an alium or muscari to me, but it's a lot of it. So it's either going to be good news or bad news. I mean, these are clearly aliums right here, but all these other little things, I don't know. It's a bit of a mystery. When they do something, I'm going to be like, oh, duh, yeah, that makes sense, but so this is where we stopped the compost mulching because we're kind of working on this side of the garden. And like I said, I just want to make sure that I have enough compost left to get those areas in front of the house because I've got enough left that I'm definitely not buying another load. Here are some beautiful little daffodils finally blooming here. I didn't plant any new daffodils in this area. In fact, I didn't plant any daffodils anywhere, I don't think, other than on the mound last year. Oh, we should look at the Cornus moss again. I know we looked at it last week, but I think it's even better now. I can't recommend this plant enough. I mean, for early spring color, it's so much better than Forsythia. Gosh, I really have a lot of aliums in this garden. I'm just looking over here and almost all the green you see there is aliums. I knew I liked them. I'm not sure I knew I liked them that much. By the way, this is Psychia. You really don't want this in your garden. It's really can take over. But that said, I also will appreciate the fact that it's quite pretty there right now. You will notice, people, Let me stand you this way and point you right into the light so you can't see anything. Do you notice what's missing here? The lights are gone. The lights that I have hated from the moment we bought this house are gone. The cords are not, but the lights are gone, so progress is being made. Also, I think I was halfway through doing this last week, and I didn't really get, I probably only got another 10 feet since then. Well, let's look at good things before we look at bad things. Primroses. First ones, first little primula, right here. Aren't those sweet? But better than that, you guys, there are seedlings all over here, which means they're spreading and they're happy. There's another really big one there. I actually moved, something's going there, so I was transplanting some earlier today. So happy. I love them, and they're so cool. And so I'm so happy that they are happy here. All these funny little folded up things here are, this is all Canadian ginger, and it comes up in this weird little folded in half, crinkly looking thing, and then it opens up. Canadian ginger is great. It's a fabulous native ground cover, and it has allelopathic properties, which means that it releases it makes it difficult for other things to grow. So I'll show you a place where I planted a bunch of it, and it does compete pretty well against creeping bellflower. This is the bad part. You guys, look at all the freaking lily of the valley that's popping up. I mean, it's just everywhere. And I know, if anyone knows of a, I don't think there is a way, but if anyone knows of a way to get rid of lily of the valley, short of sifting through your soil and digging out every little pip and every little root, let me know. Because I don't think you can spray anything on. I mean, I'm not saying I necessarily would, but I'm not saying I wouldn't at this point. Let's look at the new tree. This is Northwind. It's coming, all of its little red, its foliage comes out red and then it turns to green, but it's just looking beautiful and I think happy so far. There's lots of time to get unhappy. Pretty sure this is uvula right here coming up. It looks a little bit like Solomon still, but I think it's uvula. Oh, fine. I was going to say I'm worried because I don't see my shredded umbrella plant, but I do. And is this the tag? It is. God, look at me with the tags. Okay, do you see these tiny little fuzzy things right there? That is shredded umbrella plant coming up. And once you see it, it'll come up pretty quick now that that I'm here, but now that I'm here. No, not that now that I'm here. Now that it's started. And it just emerges as these hairy little weirdos coming up out of the garden. Beautiful hellebore there. Don't know what it is. Here is Thalictrum diodactum. This is what I think I showed you last week, and it literally looks like purple sprouted broccoli. It's just wild. So cool. I freaking love Thalictrums. You gotta all be growing more Thalictrums. They're so cool. This is the spot I want to show you where I planted a lot of Canadian ginger and where it has successfully fought off creeping bellflower. So you can see it all coming up. So I grew it as a ground cover here around Acer shirazawanum, and I'm going to get it right this time, acanthifolium. Don't tell me if I'm wrong. I'm trying, you guys. You know, the only reason I ever got confused on pronouncing that is because monkshood is very similar. And whatever, let's not talk about it. I'm just going to get it wrong again. Total distraction there. Oh, this garden also got composted. Yeah, it's interesting. We'll have to see what's coming up in this garden. It's another one where I'm like, what is going to make it, what doesn't? It's a little bit of a tough spot for me. Okay, let's talk about trout lilies, because in last week's video, I called these guys toad lilies for the whole damn video. And I got several messages from people, and you're right, it's trout lilies, but what it really is erythronium. And if I had just been calling it erythronium the whole time, I wouldn't have gotten it messed up with tricertus, which is toad lily. I can't help it that these plants are named so close to one another. Anyway, the point was, it's all over the yard, it's in the grass, it's all over every bed. It very rarely flowers, takes a long time to flower. I love it, it's fine, it gets to stay. I certainly don't do anything to keep it from flowering. I don't know why the dogs are barking their fool heads off right now. Crown Imperial Fertillary, I thought it'd be blooming by this week. It's not, but it's close. We have colored up buds, it is close. Oh, it does stink though. Is it funny that, never mind, I'm not gonna say it. Why are they barking? Anyway, Crown Imperial Fertillary. Stay on target, Erin. Oh, I think they're in the living room, that's why. I don't think that there's anything. Oh, here, we should just show you a couple of the, I think all these trees are probably gonna get planted tomorrow. We got big planting day. This is Orium. This is the golden full moon maple, Acer shirazawanum Orium. And look at the leaves start to unfurl here. So cool. Really beautiful. That one's about to go on the ground, as is this one. This is the origami. Look at how cool it looks now that it's starting to leaf out a little bit. Here's a little close-up on those beautiful leaves. I might still be my favorite. I absolutely love it. Okay, guys, that is the walkthrough. Like I said, things are happening so quickly. I love it. I love it so much that you can walk around the garden at this time of year and there's no possible way you can see everything in one fell swoop. And it was nice. It was cold but sunny today, so that was at least nice to have the sun out. I am sincerely hoping that we have a nicer week this week so that I can work in the garden after work. I only was able to do it once this week, and the rest of the week it was lousy or cold, or we had sick dogs, so there was emergency dog baths in there. You know, it happens. Okay, that's it. Shut up, Erin. Talking too much. Got to get the rest of my work done, or else I will not have earned my gin and tonic for this evening. Not this afternoon, this evening. All right, you guys, have a great day in your garden. I'm sorry for being such a blabber. We'll talk soon. All right, bye, everybody.